Hey, Sordex here, and today we're doing another deck profile. This time we're going for the bugs. The bugs are here. They are invading, and they are strong. Yep. So this is the deck profile revolving around the new Machining Stride that came out in Fire's Collection. And yeah, let's just get started with that. So for starting Vanguard, we run Machining Littleby. So this deck is somewhat similar to my Legion deck profile, with a few changes here and there. And one of the changes is the starting Vanguard. In the Legion deck, I chose to run Megacolony Battler C. This time I'm using Littleby. The only reason is because it has Machining in its name. For the Stride, Machining rear guards are very important in order to use his ability. So that's why I'm running the starter, the Machining starter. But his ability is alright. His ability is put this into Soul. You can choose one of your rested rear guard, and with Machining its name and stand it gets plus 3k. So it's not a bad ability, but you won't be using it much because you probably want him out on the field. For grade 3s, we run 4 Machining Stag Beetle, all the way from Extra Booster 1. He is here to help you fill your field to try to activate the Stride ability. So this card is, when he's placed on Vanguard Circle, choose 2 Machining units in your soul and call them in rest position, and he gains the power of both of the called units until end of turn. So he could be swinging for 26. So if you get to grade 3 first, swinging with 26 by itself is pretty strong, and they're going to have to drop a lot of guard on their 9k grade 2 Vanguard. So pretty devastating. Only problem is 10k body, which is meh. But this is Extra Booster 1 we're talking about. So yeah. And yeah, if you're lucky enough to get your cards before they've risen to like $10, then you're good. I got these for like $2.50 each before they went up in price. So lucky me. So yeah, 4 Machining Stag Beetle. Next, I run 4 Machining Tarantula Mark II. This is the Legion. Yes, I'm still keeping the Legion because the Legion is really good. And I just lost it. Okay, but the Legion is really good. Trust me. So his act ability here is Soul Blast 2 Machining units, and you can stun one of your opponent's rear guard, so they can't stand next turn. So this is pretty good. Always annoying to stun units. And then his other ability is Carapace 1. When you drive check him or the mate, you pay the cost and you stun the opponent's Vanguard. So it's really annoying. Stunning Vanguard, it's going to be painful because if they want to stride, they'll have to ride a grade 3 first and then the stride. So they're essentially ditching 2 cards from their hand when they could have used when normally they only just ditch 1 card to stride. So yeah, Machining Tarantula, and it's a really good backup boss to ride into. Probably you're going to ride on top of Machining Stag Beetle after you use Machining Stag Beetle once. So yeah, him, or you can ride into Machining Warsickle. I'm teching in this card. So I'm running 9 grade 3s because Megacolony doesn't have a Stride enabler yet, so running 9 so I have more grade 3s to Stride fodder. So yeah, but Machining Warsickle, which also came out in Fire's Collection 2014, not 2015, he's a pretty good card. Limit Break 4, Counterblast 2, at the end of the battle that this unit attacks a Vanguard. If it did not hit, you may pay the cost, and you stun your opponent's Vanguard. So it's pretty good. It forces your opponent to either guard and get their Vanguard stunned, or don't guard and potentially get critted if you run crits, which you should be running crits. Yeah. And then his other ability is Carapace, a special Carapace 1 Machining unit. When he is placed on a Vanguard circle, pay the cost. Choose a Machining from your soul and call it into rest position. So again, it'll help out with Machining Littleby can help out with that if you want to use a skill to stand that unit for an extra attack. And yeah, other than that, Machining Warsickle is a pretty good card. Yep. For grade 2s, we run 4 Machining Hornet Mark II. He is the mate to Machining Tarantula Mark II, so obviously you're going to run 4 of him. And his ability is pretty good. when he is placed onto rearguard circle, if your Vanguard is in Legion, you can stun when your opponent's rearguard, just like that, just for being on the field for that turn, and your Vanguard's in Legion, you just stun a rearguard. Pretty good ability. And run 4 because, again, I said he's the mate. Next, 3 Machining Papilio. I still can't say his name properly, or name properly, whatever. But yeah, her ability is the exact same as Machining Hornet. Instead, you don't have to be in Legion. You can just call it to rearguard and it'll just stun. So it's free, and it's 1k less, but it's free. You don't have to be in Legion or anything. You just call it to rear and it's free. You stun for free. Finally, grade 2, 3 of the 12k beater. 12ks are 12ks, especially on the rear guard. So good. Yeah, and yeah, 12ks. Machining Vanguard gets plus 3k, so 12k. Yeah. I'm not running Mantis. I think in one of my other videos there was a comment saying why I don't run Mantis. I don't run Mantis because it's only a 1-turn card. He only gets 3k for that 1 turn, and then that's it. I guess it's good if you ride him on when you're grade 2, then it becomes a 12k. Then after that, then what's the point? Like I could call Mantis on the rear guard, and he'll be 12k for that 1 turn. But I have these 12k beaters that can be 12k anytime they attack for the rest of the game. So yeah, that's why I don't run Mantis. It's a mech card for me, Mantis, so 12k beaters. For grade 1s, I run 3 Machining Mosquito. This is to help out with Machining Stag Beetle, because when this is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you soul charge 1. So basically you're adding resources into your soul for him to call out, or even Warsickle to call out if you want to pay the cost. And yeah. So he's a really good card to help fill soul and potentially get cards out into the field. No, for Machining Stag Beetle to call out to the field. Next, 3 Machining Locust. This card is a really good card to cycle through cards. So essentially, when he's placed on rearguard circle, and all your opponent's units are rested, you can discard a card from your hand and then draw a card. So essentially, you can just ditch those draw triggers in your hands and hopefully draw into something you need. Probably like a grade 3 to stride with, or maybe some cards to help stun. Next, 2 Machining Caucasus. This is a really good booster for the fact that when he boosts a machining unit and it hits the Vanguard, you can stun one of your opponent's rear guard just like that. So he is pretty good, pretty essential to the deck. He only has a 6k boost, but the ability helps balance that 6k out. Next, we're in 2 Machining Black Soldier. They are the 10k attacker of the 10k beater of the Machining clan, the Megacolony. I don't know why I was even saying that. I just felt like it. Yeah. So again, run him because Machining 12k attack, 10k attacker on the rear, and yeah, I guess in the same situation with the Machining Hornet, the first grade 1. Again, it's only 10k for that 1 turn. Is it Machining Hornet that does that? I think so. Yeah. But yeah, again, 10ks, and for 1 turn, I'd rather have this than Hornet, in my opinion. Lastly, 3 perfect guards, 1 quintet wall. I'm actually thinking of changing it to 4 perfect guards, but I don't want to buy new perfect guards since set 4 will be coming out and Megacolony will be getting support for set 4. But yeah, if you want to run the perfect guard, the quintet wall, you can if you want like the machining in its name. But other than that, probably 4 perfect guards instead of 3 and 1. Okay, for trigger lineup, 8 crits, because crits are going to crit. So obviously 4 machinings and 4 non-machining because they don't have another crit trigger, machining crit trigger until set 4 comes out, which is I think October in the North Americas. So yeah, for 8 crits, 4 draws. This deck needs draw power, so this is what you get. Draw trigger, and not machining, so Bushy Road. I know set 4's coming out. Please make a machining draw trigger. They really need it. Machine draw trigger, please. Please, they need it. And then 4 heals, because heals are going to heal. And yeah, that's it for the trigger lineup. Now let's get on to the strides, the G-Zone. The G-Zone, the main card you'll be striding a lot, and you should be running 4 copies of, is this card right here. Carapace, Mutant, and Deity, Machining Destroyer, otherwise known as the best card of the deck, which you should be using. You should be striding him. You should be striding him. You should be striding all 4 times. You should be striding all 4 times. 4 times, yes. So his ability is an act ability. You counterblast 1 machining unit, a special counterblast 1 machining, and yes, it's just counterblast 1. Very cheap cost. If you have a HUD with machining in its name, you choose one of your opponent's rearguard and stun it. Okay, not too bad. Stunning rearguard, it's the norm. But then, if you have 4 or more machining rearguards, you can stun the Vanguard. I played this deck in my local shop tourney. I pissed off a lot of people with this because they could not do anything. They literally couldn't do anything. Either they would have to re-ride and then stride, or they don't have any cards in their hand and they can't even attack with their Vanguard. It's really good. 4 copies needed. This is what is bringing Megacolony. This card is essentially what is bringing Megacolony into the limelight and potentially bringing it into the meta. So yeah, really good card. This is essentially Megacolony needed this card, and I'm kind of happy that they did get this card because they really need it. Other strides, I run 3 of the on hit stride. So his ability is on hit. You choose a rearguard from the front and back row and stun it. So it's pretty good, and it's not. Megacolony never actually had any cards that actually stunned more than 1 unit, so this is a pretty good card to have. Only running 3 because there's another card that you kind of need to run in this deck because of Stag Beetle. But yeah, it's pretty good. It puts pressure on your opponent to guard because they don't want to stun 2 rearguards. So yeah, the card. And lastly, this beautiful card right here. 1 Rain Element Madew. I would like to run more. I wouldn't mind running more because it's very helpful with Stag Beetle, but I only have 1. So yeah. So its ability is when this unit is placed on Vanguard, if you have a heart that with a original power of 10,000 or less, you can choose a grade 3 from your hand and put into from your drop zone and put it into your hand. So basically you're recycling grade 3s with this card, which is pretty cool for Stag Beetle, since you probably only want to use Stag Beetle once on that turn and then ride into like another grade 3 with an 11k body, because honestly, as much as like Stag Beetle, a 10k body really hurts. It hurts a lot, especially. So yeah, Maddew, pretty helpful. And yeah, that's it for this deck profile, guys. Let's see. So ideal lineup, always have him stride, and then 4 machining rear guards. Probably Little B will probably be behind there. Probably red soldier on either side, and then your choice of whatever. Just as long as you have 4 machining units in your rear guard, this guy is ready to go. And make sure you have tons of grade 3s in your hands. Hopefully you can draw into them so you can stride. And yeah, that's the ideal lineup. Him, always stride, and then 4 rear guards somewhere, anywhere. Probably 2 in the front because you need the attack. And yeah. Yep, and that's it for this deck profile, guys. I'll see you next week with another deck profile. Bye.